Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Infamous Idiots podcast. My name is Marco, and this is Richard.
What's up?
We are the Infamous Idiots, and welcome to today's episode. We got a special one for you today, folks. I almost got kidnapped. Your boy could have been gone. This could have been a one-man show.
Yeah, he texted me just like frantic. I was like, what happened? What is going on? I was like, he never does this.
Yeah. Okay, so I work nights, and sometimes we have slow nights where I work. So sometimes I like to get up and get some fresh air. Like summer nights, the breeze is one of my favorite things.
Oh, it's a vibe.
You know, and I'm listening. I can put on both earbuds and zone out to music, and I love it. You know, being in my own world, I'll walk. And I'm walking back to my work, and there's this really long driveway that's back to my building. And I see flashing behind me. At the end of the driveway is a main street where even on my walks, I've seen cops stop people all the time. Like, even on my walks. I see it now, especially during the summer. And I see the red and blue flashing behind me, so I just assume it's in the street, right? Only to see a big-ass van getting pulled over, like, literally right behind. It was sneaking up behind me, it felt like. And they stopped it right at the beginning of the driveway. So it's like, it was really close.
Yeah.
And, you know, the cop was right behind it. Like, it never pulls in. Nobody's ever pulled over in a driveway, let alone at a facility, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I was just so sketched because I just didn't see that van. It was one of those gray vans, you know?
It was like a Sprinter van.
Yeah, dude, it was just, man. I mean, I'm not saying I'm important to get kidnapped. I'm not that important. I haven't pissed off any people. I'm not about that life. I'm really not. But man, your boy just thought, I was like, what if, dude? Because this, I mean, you know, I was in my own world. I really was. You know, when you zone out.
Oh, yes.
I was listening to the Slim Shady LP, which we will get to. And, yeah, man, just, you never know, man. That's my irrational fear, getting kidnapped. Because, like, you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Imagine a van just pulls up right behind you or next to you, and a group of, like, 5 heavily armed men come in and grab you and just take you. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do?
There's
nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're just fucked, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, that was your boy's close call. Thankfully, I'm here. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure they were just construction workers, but still, you never know, man.
So, did they have to, like, get out? Like, did the cops, like... How long were they there?
They were there for a cool minute, man. They were there for at least, I want to say 20 minutes. Questioning this guy. Because it did look a little suspicious.
So, was this... before or after 1 a.m.?
After 1 a.m.
Nothing good ever happens.
No.
1 a.m.
No. Definitely not. And I had a coworker. She was just there for a couple hours, and she was gonna leave, and she didn't believe me. Really, I don't think she understood that. I'm like, no, there's literally a cop in the driveway in a van. Yeah. You're not gonna be able to get out. And then when she saw that, they blocked it because there's only one entrance, one way in, one way out. You know. Yeah, dude.
So they were concerned about this dude then. If they're blocking
dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. Your boy could have been trafficked, you know, or what I like to call a vacation.
I mean, have you seen those like creepy things where it's like on TikTok and it's like, if you see this, like if there's like a zip tie on like one of your door handles, like that means they're targeting you or they're scoping you out, things like that. Those terrify me because that shit's like super real. And to me, it kind of goes back to that thing of like, you know, people always are like, it'll never happen to me. Like, that can't be me.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. That coworker was like, oh my God. She was like, hella Hispanic girl. Like, come on, fool. Stop playing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, no, that's my irrational fear. And it is irrational. Don't get me wrong. Because the chances of you getting kidnapped are highly unlikely. But never think it can't happen to you. Yeah. Same with people that happen, like, family murders. Very extreme example, right?
Yeah,
kids go missing.
Yeah.
Parents never think it can happen to them, but it does.
Yes.
So, I mean, you just gotta stay safe, man. I was like, I should carry my pocket knife on me at all times.
I always keep a knife on me, or at least in my car, because I can't take it to where I work. But I always try to keep it, you know, in a place where it's like easily, especially at home. At home, I always have a knife on my table. I also have a knife like near my garage, and I have my machete in my living room.
Yeah, dude.
So,
I'm the same way.
I mean, I stay ready.
I have a couple weapons ready too in my house too. See, but I walk around. I'm like, I don't need a weapon.
Yeah, see,
I am the weapon.
I was gonna say he has to like walk around in order to transport himself to get to a lot of things. So that's why I was like, kind of. I would imagine you wouldn't be able to take one to work, but you probably should have some kind of self defense on you.
Oh, I do. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna whip it out, you know.
Yeah.
I never do, but I usually have something. But I guess they can catch these hands, but that's not gonna do much. But you never know, you know.
Yeah. They're lethal weapons. They're registered.
Yeah, they're registered. By the way, off topic quickly.
Yeah.
Whoever said that bullshit that boxers or fighters have to get their hands legalized, that's not true. It's like,
dude, I'm not gonna lie, I believed it for a very long time.
I mean, you do
when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger and I was like, oh my god,
but
it makes sense. They're professional fighters.
Yeah, but it's not true. There's no such thing. I mean, you are more of a weapon than anyone else.
Well, did Justin Gaethje beat the shit out of someone that broke in his house? Or was that someone else?
I think John Jones. I'm pretty sure John Jones did.
He ran down somebody that stole someone's purse. That was like before his first title fight, which is kind of crazy. He like kicked their legs out and then like it was like knee on belly and just wait for the cops to show up.
And like Kevin Holland was like playing superhero for a bit. Remember? Shout out Kevin Holland.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he saved a couple lives. Yeah, I totally forgot. About that. But yeah, it was just a very scary situation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think especially like if you are like me where you do walk a lot to places, then just be careful. You never know. Never think that can happen to you. I never think I can't be a victim of anything because I totally can be. Or I'll victimize someone. One of the two.
Okay. I feel like I'm pretty vigilant, even like when I drive and stuff. Yeah. Like I try my hardest not to zone out, because zoning out can be dangerous. Like whenever you get in traffic or just this red light's just taking forever and you kind of zone out. I hate that.
There's that statistic where like a lot of people will like zone out on the way home and kind of forget the ride home, and they're like, I just got home.
Well, dude, that's happened to me.
I know, dude.
When I worked in construction, there was a point when like we were just working all the fucking time. Like it was just. You go home, go to sleep, you wake up at like 3 a.m. so you could be there at 3:30. Like it was ridiculous. Like this, and we would get off at like ridiculous hours. So we get off at like 9. I get home by 10. It was just stupid. Like you'd have to wake up so early. But anyways, one time when I was driving on my way home, I literally remember getting in the car, starting up and like going, because like it would always be so much traffic merging onto the freeway.
Even that early?
No, this is at the end of the day.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was like 8. I think we got off like an hour early, 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
From 3:30 to 8 p.m.
Yes, bro, it was crazy.
That sounds awful. That's probably why I didn't see you very often during that time.
Yeah, dude, I told you. That's the reason why I stopped work construction, because they'll work you as long. Well, also this was extreme because they were behind on the project, so it's like we gotta go. That
just sounds like a fuck up on their part.
Oh, it's so awful.
Taking it out on their employees.
But anyways, I remember merging onto the freeway, and then next thing you know, my girlfriend's waking me up in my car.
In your car?
Yes, I'm in my car. I'm already home. It's night. It's like 10.
How long had you been home?
It was like 11, I think. So I had been home for at least 45 mindo I was just asleep in my car, just knocked.
That's scary.
I know. I was terrified, bro. And then that woke me. That what do you call it? I was like, I can't do this no more. I was like, I can't do this. Like if I'm feeling like I can fall asleep at any given moment when I'm driving, and like I was just saying, I'm very vigilant when I drive. You know what I mean? So, because I had one car accident where I got hit by a drunk driver. After that point, I realized the importance of being very alert when you drive.
It was a very scary time.
That scared the fuck out of me.
Very scary.
Because it was me. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, like when I drive, I'm like, it's someone else. I don't have to worry about myself. But this is one of those first times where I had to worry about myself, and I was like, I can't do this. This is not it.
And you were hit by a drunk driver, right?
Yeah. That was in like
2016. If you're a drunk driver, you're a piece of shit.
Yes.
Get your shit together, dude. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it was really scary. That was really scary. And that goes back to what I was just saying. Never think it can't happen to you, right? Mm-hmm. And look at what happened. And I feel like you had that scare, and it really, like, it sounds like it really opened your eyes, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to lock in. You know,
I was like, you know. I feel like a lot with like construction, like especially the worker side, they'll be like, "Oh, you gotta be a man. If you can't do this, this is not manly enough for you." Yeah. Like that's the mentality. Like if you can't handle the work, it's because you're not a man. And when, like, I remember when I was telling, some of the coworkers, I'm like, I'm this is gonna be like my last week, because it was like the end of the job. Like this was like the end. You know what I mean? Like this is when like they're lifting up these 3-ton boulders essentially to fucking, lay out the foundation for the building. And they were like, "Oh, you can't handle the work, huh?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, if me explaining it to you and that's what you determine about it, you just don't understand."
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is.
But that's also people that work in that field. Usually, that's just their whole life.
Well, I agree.
I feel like you were like, this is good money, but I don't want this to be the rest of my life.
I don't want to. It was very good money, but like I said, there's like a certain point of diminishing return. Like, is the money really worth it if you are physically putting your body online? Because I told my girl, I felt like that aged me like by 3 years, just working there for 7-8 months. I worked there.
Aged you 3 years?
I feel like it
Imagine how much your relationships aged you. Plus that, this motherfucker's really 45.
But yeah, I mean, that's probably the most recent close call that I can, most recent that I'm like, holy fuck, I can't do this. I was like, this just isn't it.
Dude, or what about that time that we were at my old apartment complex and we were out at like 3 a.m?
Dude.
For some odd reason,
well, we were going to smoke.
Yeah, we were smoking.
So what had just a little bit of backstory before this? There had always been like, it would always be like right as the sun's setting, there'd be like this really creepy old ice cream truck that would just go around, and no one would ever. I never saw anyone go up to it. Ever.
I've seen it during the day.
Oh, you did see it during the day. Well, I'm saying for me personally.
Wait, was it pink?
I remember it being white with like a pink, big snow cone on the top.
No. That never mind. It's a completely different ice cream truck.
See, that's
now that actually worries me because I'm like, did we like have an accidental serial killer encounter?
Dude, it was creepy.
Because like, look,
explain when our real bad encounter.
Okay, so I mean, look, we were smoking weed.
But this is weed.
Yeah, I know, but hold on.
Were we going or were we leaving from smoking? Because we used to go down to the trail and go to our spot.
I think we were...
Because I remember walking back that way towards the trail. I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, I think we were going. We were going. So we weren't high.
Yeah, we weren't high. We were going to get high.
But even if we were, though, we're never really too dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, man, I just remember like we were walking and it's really late at night and we see an ice cream truck, and like I said, it's 3 a.m. for some odd reason, and we're just.
Well, I stayed the night at your house.
Yeah, and basically, the ice cream truck. What ice cream truck is out at 3 a.m? First of all,
and its jingle is like full blown loud.
It's too. Like.
And I remember when we were walking, like, so the way when we leave his house, like, you go out and you turn and you go towards the field this way. And I remember this bright light behind us, and we hear it, and we're like, what the? It's that fucking ice cream truck again.
Yeah.
That creepy ass when we cut across, and as we're cutting across, it felt like this thing was speeding up towards us. And I remember when we were headed towards it, but we decided to go a different route because it literally came up right behind us. So we decided to take a right and go down like a little archway for, to lead to the other apartments essentially.
Yeah.
And it was like a little pathway. And I remember turning and it kind of really slowed down because we looked back. We were like, what the fuck is this guy doing out here?
Yeah.
And then he kept going. And then we went on with our business. And I remember when we came back, we were super vigilant. Like,
yeah.
Dude, there's an ice cream truck outside right now. I'm not joking you. I just got chills. I just got chills, dude.
Is this our hell?
Dude, what the fuck?
That's actually scary.
That actually is super scary.
But it's a decent time.
Yeah, it is a decent time. It's like
try to rationalize.
9 p.m.
Try to rationalize.
But it's pretty creepy talking about this.
Long legs?
Ice cream truck. Yeah, long legs, low key.
Fuck.
Anyways, that was terrifying, actually.
Yeah. Oh man. Because what could have happened, dude? Because the behavior that truck was exhibiting, pre-sober, just didn't make sense.
Did not make
and like
sense.
I was just explaining to you about the van. It's not like I thought I was gonna get kidnapped, but it was like the intent. Why was it driving so slow? Because imagine,
he's
driving
this
slow
is a major road. This is a major road. Like the speed limit's like 40, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you're going slow, you're like, why are you going fucking slow?
Yeah. And that was the thing, man. It's just you just don't know. And that reminds me of that story. There's this story about this couple going on a first date, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the maybe the date's not going so well, but then this starts to pick up, right? And they start feeling each other. And for some, this is in California, and like for some odd reason, they're like, "Hey, let's just do something crazy. Let's go for a hike." And this is nighttime, right? So they go and they're walking, and it's just dark. And slowly, as it gets darker and they get closer to the forest, they both kind of start to get the feeling like somebody's watching us. They hear rustling in the bushes, right?
Yeah.
And then they step on something weird, something they can't quite describe, but it made them feel scared and off, right? And so they're just looking ahead, and they just immediately like, you know what, let's just go back. And they walk back, right? And they kind of hurry up, but before they walked back, they heard more rustling, and they said they could have swore they heard a man breathing, right? Cut to years later, it ends kind of nice, right? Like they wind up getting married, they have kids, and then one day the wife is watching something on the news. It's about a serial killer who just got caught, none other than Ted Bundy. Ooh. And they asked him, was there ever a time that you got close to getting caught? And he said, this one time a couple was hiking up on a trail where I regularly dump my bodies, and they actually stepped on the corpse. I was watching them through the bushes. Something compelled them to walk back, so I didn't wind up killing them.
Whoa.
How crazy is that?
That's fucking crazy.
How fucking insane is that, dude?
What the fuck?
So, a part of me always thinks back to that story with the ice cream truck. You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, we just don't know. We just don't know.
I agree, because, dude, there's been multiple times where I've had that, like, it's a dread. Essentially, it's dread is how I would describe it, where you just get this irky feeling. Remember when we went camping? We went to go look for wood, and we got lost. Well, now this time we were high. We were actually full blown high, but we got lost because we were looking for wood. And this is where I like to camp is like all the way up at the top of the mountain, and there's nobody for like a mile.
And no service,
no nothing. I like to camp like that. That's my preferred way to camp. But we ended up getting lost, and we were like, we couldn't find our way back, and we all started getting this like feeling of like we're being watched. Now this area the lake is called Cougar Lake, so there's a lot of cougars.
Not the older women, unfortunately.
Okay.
I asked. I also looked around.
But I remember feeling like just this dread of being like, oh my god, we're lost, because we're like, when you're in this area, to just get there, you drive at least 50 miles to get to this small town in the middle of nowhere. So it's very terrifying, especially if you have that feeling out there in the middle of nowhere.
I don't think that as a human being you should fight those instincts as well.
No. I
think you feel them for a feeling. I think it's our defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing that helps us. I think that's why, like, you know, when a detective has a gut feeling, it's, you know, they're usually pretty spot on with their intuition. Yeah. You just can't fight your intuition. And if you do, man, I think, have you ever, like, I'm sure you can think of plenty of times where you fought against your intuition and...
I lost my train of thought. What were the last thing we were talking about?
Death.
The death of Slim Shady.
Yeah, the death of Slim Shady. My God, this album... I don't know what I was expecting. Because I like Houdini. Houdini was a cool song. It was a fun song.
I feel like he went back to his roots.
Yeah, for sure. Was it enough to like get me hyped? I hate to say that it wasn't, but it was still a good song. And then the death of Slim Shady dropped, and I was like, this is an album I need to listen to. Cover to cover, like front to back.
Yeah, you have to analyze it.
You know, and my God, the concept for this album is so good. I heard a theory on Twitter basically saying like if you listen to the album in reverse from the last song up, then it's basically the reverse of the concept of this album in which Slim Shady's dying. So Eminem would be dying instead of Slim Shady.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro, that's why he's the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT. And people that don't want to give Eminem their flowers can go suck a cock.
Yeah, I just feel
because like fucking A, dude. Like Joe Budden is such a fucking hater. And hey, I respect on making a living on talking shit though and reviewing. I do. I really do. But man, bro, like at the end of the day, you just got to be able to give someone their props, bro. I don't think Eminem has ever lost it lyrically. Lyrically, he has always been the GOAT. But my biggest problem with some of his albums before, I fall into that category of maybe I wasn't a hater. I listened to every album that came out post Recovery. I even liked Relapse, honestly. I think I'm like the only person that likes Relapse.
There's some good songs, but in terms of the album itself,
yeah. It's also because it holds a special place in my heart because that was the first full Eminem album I owned when I was a kid.
So for me, that's Recovery.
Yeah.
Recovery is like I remember waking up and it'd be like on MTV, it'd be like Not Afraid.
Yeah.
And I just remember I love Recovery. It's one of my personal.
Recovery's a great album.
Actually, we should point out up there. This perfectly shows what our stance on
shit,
Slim
that's right.
Shady.
We got
the OG. One of the best albums ever made.
This album is detrimental to making me into the man I am today.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm a delinquent, degenerate.
But see, like for me, I remember listening to the Slim Shady with my sister, but Recovery was the first one where there was no external. You know what I mean? Like I saw it on the radio. It was everywhere, and I remember like getting the album. My favorite song on there, and I feel like it's not a lot of people like this song, is "The Cold Wind Blows." I love that song. That's a banger.
That's probably my favorite song on that album.
Oh fuck yeah! Okay, I'm not the only one then.
Yeah, no. It's that one. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I love.
I also love. I think is it Spacebound?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Spacebound. That's such a good song.
Okay, this is weird. But that song will never not make me think of the porn star Sasha Grey, because she was in the music video.
Yeah, I know. Same. I watched that music video a lot. It was a great music video.
Yeah, not to be derogatory or anything, but I'm just like, oh yeah, she was in that. Good for her.
Well, he did that with a lot. Like there was Without Me. There was one in there too. Forget her name.
Porn stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eminem's.
He's always done that.
Yeah, he's always kind of worked with porn stars. Respect.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I felt like he was saying a lot of things that America kind of holds back a little bit. Things that people really want to say, but they just they're like, I'm gonna piss off some people, and I just don't want that in my life.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it really boils down to.
But it's also him. It's also him arguing with that side, with this side that says all this fucked up shit. He acknowledges the fact that he does believe that what he's saying is wrong, but he just can't help it. That's how he's made a living. Like, fucking, what bit was it? What bit was it where like Slim's like, without me, what would you have?
Yeah, I agree,
and he's right.
I mean, you got to think about. I remember when I was younger, and this was coming up in like I said, when my sister was listening to. I remember being the whole controversy. Should your kids listen to this type of music? And he was saying some shit. The song that still disturbs me to this day, which is still a good song though, is Kim.
Oh,
that song is actually disturbing. It actually, to me, it's actually disturbing.
It's a really good song.
It is a good song. I'm not saying it's not a good song.
No,
I'm just saying it can be very disturbing.
Because I remember my first time listening to it and just having my mouth open because I was like, fucking A. It was so visceral, so real, and a scary insight into an extremely toxic relationship and situation, and a crazy story about love, being heartbroken, and just infidelity and all of these other things. And man, that's when he's at his best though.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe some of his albums weren't necessarily him trying to tell a story. They're just like, I'm just trying to put out music. But like I said, dude, my only biggest gripe with some of his previous albums was his beat selection. That was only my ever gripe on certain songs, but I also understand when you're in the game so long, there's only a certain amount of shit you can
make. Songs about it. He's like, I'll write down music, and I'm like, have I done this before? And I'll chop it up and throw it away.
Cause he's fucking. What else is there to do when you've already fucking accomplished everything? When you've already when you've already sat at the throne for so long, you kind of become like this. You're already this desolate king, and now you're. What else is there?
Yeah,
you've conquered everybody. There's anybody that throws a shot at you pays, and everyone knows that when you are struck first, you strike back with fury.
Yep.
He's done everything. I honestly wouldn't be mad if this was his last album.
I wouldn't be mad.
I think this would be the, like he said, fucking a coup de grace. I think this is perfect for it. I even love that line. And Guilty Conscience too.
Yep.
You know, he's like, coup de grace, motherfucker. Oh, that hit so hard. That man just knows wordplay and it's just amazing. I actually rewatched 8 Mile, so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It
was before this dropped.
Yeah.
Too.
I've been thinking about it because I remember when he released, or when he started doing his trailers, because he was doing, like little teasers in between. I remember I was like, should I watch 8 Mile before this comes out? Yeah. And then it dropped, but I'm a little late on that now.
Dude, but yeah, that movie was detrimental to my childhood. I should not have been watching that movie as a kid. Among a lot.
I agree with you. I watched a lot of movies I probably shouldn't have watched as a kid.
But I feel like 8 Mile just had a lot of heavy themes and like but that's still one of my favorite childhood movies. Dude, my favorite childhood movies consist of like rated R, like really things I shouldn't have been watching.
Yeah, I'm like watching Terminator and fucking just the shit that you're like, that's what you're watching.
Yeah, dude. Because like I said, I'll never forget my reaction to watching Kill Bill for the first time. Yeah, that is a moment and experience I cherished with my heart. I was like, the fuck is this? I wanted to watch Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I'm just like glued to the screen, and I'm like 5 years old at this point. So, man, I don't know, man. He's the GOAT. That's all I have to say. He's the GOAT.
So what's your favorite song on the album then? To me, the first 4 songs are just bangers. Now, I've listened to the album like 2.5 times. So I've listened to the beginning the most, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
even
the first 4, I think Habits, if I remember correctly, is my favorite. Because he's calling out, like body
positivity.
Exactly. He's calling it out and saying that, like if someo's telling you that you are going to die, bruh, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, be healthy. There's a difference between eating what you want and not being healthy. And I that's my favorite thing about that song. Pretty sure it's Habits.
The talking shit about the body positivity.
Well, to me, it's just telling the truth. That's what I say.
Well, I mean,
this is coming from someone that's not in the best shape, but I'm not.
Or me.
You know what I mean? But I'm not having full on cholesterol and potentially having a heart attack at the age of 26. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in that situation, you gotta own up and be like, hey, I gotta get my shit together. Do I want to be here in 25 years? You know what I mean? And to me, that's the biggest problem with, that whole movement, is not being able to take valid criticism from bullying. There's a difference between getting bullied and me being like, I didn't want to say what I just thought I was gonna say, but
say it, you coward.
But anyways, there's a difference between getting flat out bullied and being someone telling you like, hey, bro, you gotta lose some weight. You do you want to be here later? Do you want to see your kid grow up? To me, you can't. You got to be able to differentiate those things.
Yeah.
And that's why I love that he called that out, because I 100% agree. And this comes from someone that's not in the best shape right now. But I'm also, don't have like cholesterol problems, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, go off, King. I agree. Like him, he's just said a lot of shit that a lot of people are afraid to say, and he's just kind of like laid it out. He's kind of always said it's always been his thing. He's always like, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to say, and I don't care what you think. And a lot of people agree with some of his takes.
Agree with like Dana's take on like who's gonna cancel me. Like, who's really going to cancel me? Other than the people that are closest to you, who's really going to cancel you? Like, I totally agree with that. Like, why is there this existential fear of something that's from someone you don't even know?
The fucking hilarious thing, though, is that the concept of canceling is so stupid. Because it diminishes the fact that no human being can change. Now, there are irredeemable acts.
Oh, yes, 100%. Like what fucking Ryan Garcia was saying?
Pedophilia. Anything Ryan Garcia is doing currently. Racist, like hardcore racism.
Yes.
Like
there's a line. There's a line.
Yeah.
There's a line.
There's lines that you don't cross where it's very hard to come back. But at the end of the day, cancel culture is trying to say that you can't change. You can't be. You're not human. Like, you're just stuck in your ways, and that's ridiculous.
Because I'm not the same person I was when Modern Warfare 2 came out, bro. The things that were being said in those lobbies, everyone would have been canceled.
Dude, right now on my Twitter, if I get famous, There are some tweets from back in the day. I'm fucking done. You look through my history, I'm fucking done.
What's the worst thing you said?
I don't want to say it. Okay,
I didn't have Twitter. When I was one of those people that stayed off.
I'll say it. And if you feel like you need to edit it out, we're gonna make it very apparent that he felt like he needed to edit it out. I think that'd be hilarious.
Who can really cancel us though?
Yeah, we haven't even
14
started.
subscribers.
Okay, I was young. I was dumb. Okay, and you know I've said some outlandish shit.
Yeah, he lets his intrusive thoughts run wild.
Anyways, I think I was like me and a buddy of mine at the time were sending each other memes, just random shit, trying to one up each other.
Okay.
And the concept was beating our meat, and I said beating my meat harder than Chris Brown did Rihanna.
Oh, that's not that bad.
In today's climate.
I mean, I don't know. That joke's been said a lot. I'm not saying that particular one, but just in terms of that whole Rihanna and Chris Brown situation. Yeah. Maybe it's just because I'm like, what's the word? Diluted from it.
Yeah, it's because it's been so long ago.
Yeah, it's been so long ago. I've heard it for all my life.
Exactly. So. I mean, but that was that was at the height of that joke.
Oh, that's true.
That was like when he was.
See, that's a perfect example though. It's like when you're saying it at the height of that joke.
Or like when there was an active school shooting at another school near ours, and we went on lockdown, and they said there was one fatality, and then I was like, damn, it sounds like they're having a blast. Yeah. I let that one go. A lot of people didn't like that one. But that was also when I had no filter. I'm not proud of that joke. That was like, But to be fair, there is no wrong time. People heal differently. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Was that one worse?
I don't know. Yeah. It caught me off guard. I'll say that.
And again, it was inherently for shock value. Of course, that's why I fucking said it.
But see, I think that's part of what comedy is. You laugh at something that you're not expecting. If you're expecting a joke and you expect the outcome, is it funny? Right?
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just like the knock-talk joke. Knock-talk joke. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's not going to be funny because you already know the whole punchline, the lead-up, and the execution of it. Versus if you're saying shock value, dark humor, it's going to be unexpected. And you're going to be like, oh, okay?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, yeah.
That's always been my favorite type of comedy, but we can go on and on about this, honestly. Because
I don't disagree, though. I think dark humor is funny,
and it helps. I feel like it can help you cope and not necessarily make light of a dark situation, but maybe humanize the situation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of dark in the world, and I think that's where
just saying that it doesn't exist doesn't mean that it's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, dude, in the whole history of humans, there's been nothing but mayhem. Essentially,
war.
You know what I mean? Like if you go back to like the 1700s when like Rome was the thing, bro, they kill people on the spot for very minor things. You know what I mean? Like in this day and age where we live now is definitely better than living back then.
Dude, but I'm not gonna lie though. If I lived in Rome, I probably would have fucking been a gladiator. So at least you die a decent death, and you know.
But that's what I'm saying though, is that like in that world, you are literally confined to what you are born in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least here, I'm only speaking for the United States, but at least here, it's a very small chance, but there is a chance where you can get out. I mean, it's happened with fighters, it's happened with rappers.
That's called the American dream.
Exactly.
Tony
True
Montana.
patriots here.
Tony Montana went for it.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that's... Just go back to the realm real quick. It's like, dude, it's just a different time, and like bad things happen all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you can't acknowledge it doesn't mean that it's not gonna happen.
And I'd argue that was one of the cruelest times for humans as well.
100%.
Because it was an empire, but it was also very chaotic, and all the shit that went on was just insane. Mm-hmm. Which is a lot of what I'd argue is going on today. We're just a lot more civilized. As time passes, obviously.
Well, humanity. I think in today's age, we rationalize things.
Yeah. But it's like a lot of things remain the same. They just become civilized. Mm-hmm. Like fighting, combat sports, that is gladiators.
Yeah.
That is just we're
It's
just
just
not
no
making
longer
them.
going to the death.
Yeah, exactly. It's just no longer to the death. It's no longer like filling in the fucking Coliseum with water, which.
Although Gladiator 2 actually looks badass, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god.
Dude, the only hate that I saw for it is like, how are you gonna put No Church in the Wild on a movie that's in Rome? Like, I was like, do you not understand what a trailer is supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's supposed to just get you hyped. If you can't understand why Church in the Wild is dope for a Gladiator movie,
Okay,
you're
but
looking at things too realistic
it's
to me.
it's just also because in this day and age with the internet and everything, people are just never satisfied. People are so unhappy.
True.
Because again, I was one of those people. Gladiator did not need a fucking sequel.
Yep.
And granted, it's been. I'm gonna rewatch the first one because it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
But I remember loving it as a kid, and now you convinced me. The trailers got me hyped. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I literally
this is
texted him out
awesome.
because I saw Gladiator. I was like, "Do I want to watch that trailer?" I was like, "Fuck it."
I sent it to you, right?
Yeah, you did. I don't know if you did. But I just remember replying or texting him back and be like, why does Gladiator 2 look so fucking sick? Like, it has no right to look that dope, and it does. Like, the whole premise, like, because, like, when you think of Gladiator 2, especially after all this time, you're like, how are they going to do that? And just the whole premise of what they're going towards that direction, I like it.
They're also doing what historically they've always been doing in like the arena in the Coliseum, like having the gladiators fight animals and filling in the Coliseums with water and putting making them like war games essentially.
Yeah.
Which honestly sounds fucking sick. I hate to say it. I would have been a spectator in this life for the last.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But either way, yeah, man, and I don't remember. Was there a lion scene? Again, it's been so long since
I don't know. It's been a long time. I just remember. Are you not
There is a lion
entertained?
scene. There is a lion scene. Okay. But you can
Isn't
kind of
there a
have
chariot?
fun with that. I think so.
They're on a chariot too.
Dude, it's been so long.
time. That movie came out in like 2003, I think.
Yeah, dude, it's been so long.
Yeah,
I can't even tell you. But that's a perfect segue for what I want to talk about next is modern day gladiators. Because recently we had a pretty exciting boxing card that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Diaz versus Masvidal. Fucking A, dude. That
Dude,
card.
if you want an entertaining boxing fight, just put two former MMA fighters and they'll fucking go at it.
Well, okay.
Hold on. I think one thing that's so funny though is when that fight happened, there was another fight, an actual boxing fight happening at the same time.
Shakur Stevenson was fighting that night.
Yeah, and I saw so much hate. Like, dude, this dude threw like less than 10 punches around.
He's
And I
like,
was like, what?
he's a defensive fighter.
I know, but it's just like, to me, that's like, bro.
Yeah.
It's just not entertaining. And it's not my fighting style, and I understand, like, oh, yeah, you're trying to win. It's like the same thing in MMA when someone's like a grappler and they need to take
A heavy grappler.
But the thing is, in that, he's actually, at least a grappler tries to go for submissions and stuff like that.
Can you not appreciate the art of hit and not getting hit, though?
No, I can. But to me, Floyd is a perfect example of, at least to me personally. Now, I've also grown in my taste. When I was younger, I was like, I fucking hate him. I want him to lose. But as I got older, I was like, wow, this is actually really entertaining to see him hit without getting hit. To me, that's the right way to do it in terms of just putting out. Like, I don't think Floyd ever really had consecutive rounds where he's putting out less than 10 punches. That's no output.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're not wrong. People forget that to be Floyd Mayweather, he had to be Floyd Mayweather.
I mean, to understand what Floyd did, dude, this dude would go to nightclubs and not drink. He would be there to witness everyone else party, and he would run home. And this dude's already a millionaire by that point.
Yep.
And he still continued to fight for years on years and not getting hit. To me, that's the right defensive method in order to be entertaining. I went on a tangent. But Masvidal, that was an entertaining fight. I agree with his take, or I guess you should say it for Masvidal.
What take?
I didn't like how he came out southpaw.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to get into that first, but I wanted to talk about, kind of add on to what you were saying really quickly. The fact that you do... I'll talk about that later, actually. We're just going to talk about the fight. The fight, yeah. Don't know why Jorge came out southpaw, because he's orthodox, and a lot of his best strikes come from the orthodox stance. I feel like it was to kind of like...
Throw him off?
No, I feel like it was like, I'm going to stand in your position and I'm going to beat you up. I think he had that in his mind. I think in his mind, he really thought he was going to put Nate out or fucking put a beating on him. And he's like, I'm going to do... because you have to understand, he did piece up Nate in the first fight they had. Granted, it was MMA.
Yep.
But maybe he was like, I want to do it, beat you up your way. You know what I'm saying? Like
your style.
Your style.
Diaz has always been like
Southpaw, boxing.
He's gonna get you maybe throw one leg kick like in the whole fight.
And Nate's chin just continues to fucking just be granite. Apparently, just adding on to his myth of his fucking chin.
He's never been fully knocked out. He's been TKO'd, but he's never been fully knocked out.
Josh Thompson, right?
Yeah, it was a head kick, really. Head kick, and then it was ground and pound, and then the ref jumped in. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that actually, well, maybe that didn't. I think it happened on the fucking Seattle card that was a few years ago.
Damn, that would have been cool to see. That would have been cool to see.
Hopefully they come back to Seattle.
UFC, please come back to Portland and put on like a dope card. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of fans here. A lot of fucking casuals too, though.
A lot of fucking
Don't know
casuals.
what the fuck they're talking about, which is annoying. But that's okay. We need casuals.
I do agree with you that I just didn't understand. My whole thought was like, oh, he's gonna switch it up each round. But
I was hoping
he stayed southpaw the entire fight, and he was trying to. I don't know if he saw something in his defense maybe that led him, but I just don't. Like he was saying, he's always had his knockouts or stunned people from his right hand. Other than when he knocked out Darren Till with the left hook. That's the only instance I can think of where his left hand did something. But again, that was from the orthodox position, not southpaw.
Yeah. Well, that knockout was against Darren Till was a switch left hook.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So that doesn't even really
count, you're switching your hips to create different momentum.
Yeah. So I mean, I think because I noticed what he was doing is he was doubling up on the lead hand and he would land really good body shots. I think he thought it would be easier to get his liver and hurt his body because I mean a lot did land. But I don't know, man.
So did you agree with the decision then? Did you really think Masvidal won?
I think he lost by like 1 round.
Okay.
I think he lost by 1 round.
Because the judges is what my issue was.
That was
they
98-92?
Yeah, I don't know how they got that.
Fuck is that?
I agree with you. I thought Nate won by 1 round, and I think that 1 round was actually the first round.
I agree.
He came out firing.
I've never seen Nate come out like that.
Yeah,
he came out.
Whoa! Well, because he had no fear. He's like, my legs aren't gonna get hurt. He's like, nah. I'm gonna box him up.
Yep.
And I think what really won Nate his the fight was keeping control of the ring and keeping up a pace.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like
volume.
Even though those shots weren't landing, this guy can't keep his fucking mic in his hand.
Sorry, I'm not used to having things in my face like you are. Like
that's where we're going with this, huh?
Penises.
You're the one that's double-handling it. Exactly. A big black thing in your hand, you're double-handling it. That's instinct to me.
I don't know, bro. All right, you got me there.
No defense there. I just want to say.
No defense.
But
you got me.
I fuck you. But anyways,
That's okay.
I thought Nate kept the pressure and he kept it going.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
There's a couple. Nate landed a couple really good shots against Masvidal too. That I was like, ooh. And then like, I think the one round that really, I think the round that won Diaz was like. The one where he kind of started walking away from him, and then he just pieced up Masvidal.
Oh yeah, he landed.
I was like, dude, I was so mad at Jorge. I was like, what are you doing, bro? You know.
But that to me, that's his reaction time. Just getting older with age. And,
yeah, I think so.
Like, how do you not know Nate's gonna do that? He's done that in almost all his fights.
Yeah, but he can throw them at a. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was really impressed by Nate though. Yeah. I wish this Nate. Oh, sorry, choking on things.
It's those dicks you be sucking, that's why.
Yeah, dude. It's the oral fixation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All that road work. Get the bills
My eyes
paid.
are bleeding. I'm crying. That's usually how it happens. I can't breathe. Saliva
This episode
dripping.
is so disjointed.
Yeah, I know.
Sweat my ass off, dude. Anyways, yeah. Cut all this out, I guess.
Yeah.
What's the last thing? What's our thing we gotta get?
In my defense, we gotta get.
Since we're editing this out, what was the first one at? We're at 25 minutes right now. You gotta be at work in 30 minutes.
Yeah. We can finish up in. We can get going. We can wrap up real quick, and I can do the in my defense real quick, and then we'll get to long legs.
Okay. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
It's hot, so the PC kind of did a little crash. We had to get some ice on it,
Yeah, I let Richard borrow it, and all of a sudden it got a bunch of viruses. Yeah, he
He gave me no rules. Is that my fault if you lay down no rules and you just give me a free laptop? I'm like, bro, I'm gonna go do some.
Now
shit.
all of a sudden, I'm getting ads for local hot young Asian singles in my area that want to meet me.
Whoa, that's very oddly Pacific.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Richard. Clearly, you have a type.
Oh, okay, all right. Get off topic.
Yeah, but just to quickly get back to what we were talking about before, I don't think that the wrong person won the Diaz versus Masvidal. We just think the scorecards were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, those judges.
There's no way it was that wide a margin. Mm-hmm. We can both agree it was a very competitive fight. It was a really entertaining fight and card overall, I think.
Yeah.
There's actual boxers on that card that are up and coming.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed by Mosley's son.
Yeah, that was hard seeing Danny Jacobs like that. I'm a huge Danny Jacobs fan, but he just... you can't be inactive and you can't be
he was out for a while.
3 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And he's, 38, 39? Mm-hmm. Man, I love him to death, man, but that just wasn't it. That wasn't the move.
Yeah, but
I think he can get away.
Son, though, I mean, that's a great name to have under your belt.
Man, fuck really that guy.
You don't like him?
No, because he beat Danny, dude.
I mean, I didn't know
I like Danny, man. I like Danny. Danny's a very inspiring person.
He was always mid to me. Oh, but I don't know about his whole upbringing. I just remember when he fought Canelo.
Do you know anything about him?
Not really. I thought he was a little bit of a boring fighter, personally.
Oh, wow. Well, this is going to be a whole other topic. I'm going to make him feel like a fucking asshole in the next episode. But don't worry. Hey, we'll get into that later.
I'll watch like the 24/7 episode and I'm like, oh my God, I love him.
You will, dude. You will. Dude, his story is one of the greatest combat sports comebacks of all time. He came back from cancer.
Oh, I already love it. I love when that type of shit happens, when they're overcoming something that,
They told him he was never going to walk again. Told him he was never going to box again. He came back and now
I wish he won.
His second fight back was against Triple G in his prime.
Jesus Christ.
And
jumping into it. That was when it was a Shark Tank, too.
Have you seen that fight?
I don't think so.
That's a great fight. And I'd argue a lot of people think that Jacobs was robbed.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know.
That's a prime Triple G, too.
Yeah, dude. I'm just saying, dude. Danny Jacobs, at the end of the day, is a world champion, dude. Love that dude. I think he's so cool. He's had a couple missteps, but like I said, I think someone that can come back from like literal death, essentially, is a unique human being. Already. Unique human being, dude. Yeah. And keep in mind, dude, he fought a prime Canelo too. Mm-hmm. So props to him, bro. He's fought everybody that was put in front of him, man. So that's just a love letter to Danny Jacobs, honestly, because I fuck Shane Mosley Jr.
You'll fuck him? Okay.
Yeah. If that's what it'll get to get that loss back.
Oh, shit.
But that does kind of lead really well into my next segment. This is my in defense segment where I say something and I defend it. I don't think you're going to disagree with this, but I just wanted to put it out there that I think Diaz versus Masvidal showed that you don't need O's. You don't need to protect a record. You need two fighters that have a name and let them fight, and you will have a good fight. This is the way boxing should do it. It should not have been two 39-year-old MMA fighters putting it on for boxing and not actual boxers. No disrespect to my boys. I love them to death, but we know that that's not their wheelhouse at the end of the day. So why did it take two MMA fighters to put on an amazing boxing card? You had up-and-comers on that card. And that card is the most recent boxing card where the main event wasn't the only thing I wanted to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And
that's insane. It should never be that way with the boxing card.
They need to take the UFC format and actually lay it out with proper
and
stars.
That's the biggest problem with it, man. Mm-hmm. It's just, and we've talked about this before. I don't always think it's the fighter trying to protect the O. In my heart of hearts, I like to believe that the fighters know that the quality of opponent matters most, and that you have to fight these big names in order to get the recognition that you want. But fighting people that just don't have that record, and you're just padding up a record, like for what? Yeah. That's also why I'm not gonna lie. I've always been a Jake Paul defender. Granted, he's only boxed one boxer before, but he's fighting other actual fighters that have actually put their lives on the line. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say this in a rude way. Those are MMA fighters, but we know they excel in MMA, not boxing. With that being said, we know that they're essentially better tomato cans.
Yeah.
They're not tomato cans by any means, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not.
No, I
their
agree.
wheelhouse.
My only issue with Jake is I just didn't like the Tyson fight. That's too old. I mean, they pulled out for medical reasons. Like,
nah, fam.
Dude, come on.
If Mike Tyson wants to get in the ring, let that be his death, dog.
But see,
what else does he have?
That's not what I'm not defending. I'm not
kidding.
saying for Mike Tyson.
I don't want Mike Tyson to get hurt.
No, I'm not saying. But here's the thing. I'm not saying for Mike Tyson. I'm saying for Jake's. Like the perception that you are going to be viewed on. It has nothing to do with Tyson. And him
dude,
to me, Tyson, if he wants to box Roy Jones Jr. again in actual boxing fight, I'm up for that. Someone that's like a little bit more in his era, I guess. You know, someone that's closer to his age. Bro, there's a ridiculous age gap. Jake Paul's he's only, I think, 2 years old, maybe a year older than us. Like, dude, that's like me.
Respect, though.
You know what I mean? Like that's me going fighting some grandpa. Like Now I know it's not an average grandpa. I understand that, but it's just the look that it has. Like I'd rather
with you.
Yeah, I just see it's not like.
So you prefer the Mike Perry fight?
Yes, 100%. I was like, that's a way more interesting fight. Yeah. That's someone that's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
He's been extremely active. He's been killing it in bare knuckle boxing. You know what I mean? That fight to me is already more interesting.
I hope he fucking just slings leather because I think he has a very high chance. But who knows, dude? Just honestly, I don't want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to make it sound like I'm hating on Jake. I just hate that some of the opponents that he's chosen have been like the Ben Askren one. I'm like, okay. Like, we all knew what was going to happen there. Yeah. It was just a payday for Ben Askren. But, like, if he could fight people like Tyron Woodley, I'm up for that. I'm honestly not opposed. Like, if he fought someone like Johnny Hendricks or even, God forbid, Robbie Lawler. You know what I mean? Like, someone that's going to fight him, you know, that's not going to come in there and just be like, yeah, I'm here for – I mean, he's there for a payday. But he's, like, going to try to win. Yeah. Ben Askren was like, I'm just here for a payday.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
because I actually do like a lot of what Jake does. Like he has really high level technique with some power. You know what I mean? Like I like.
And he's doing it right. He's rich as fuck. He can put all his resources into his fight camp, which is a ridiculous amount. Like that dude's got it set, bro. And honestly, I'm kind of jelly. Like, dude, he gets to fucking just get the best trainers. Work with, bring in sparring partners. Like actually have this methodical, thought out camp, and he just did it because of the love of the game, and I fucking respect that, bro. I mean, like you said, there are some things I'm not I question as well, but I can't deny that I see the fire and confidence in his eyes and how much he genuinely loves boxing, and that's what I respect most.
Yeah, I agree. This is kind of what I guess a little bit of my irritation with him is with the level that he's showing now. I'm like, bro, you might be able to win a belt. Yeah, you might be able to win a belt.
So you just want him to
I want him
that.
Yeah, I would because to me
sounds
it brings more interest.
I agree.
Like I agree. Like it's been bringing interest to boxing itself, but it would bring interest to more actual boxing matches.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like imagine if he started working his way up and like he's fighting someone that's a little bit higher stakes. You're like, wow, this dude actually has a record. This is gonna be a fucking fight. You know what I mean? Like, and he wins in spectacular fashion, like against Tyron Woodley. Bro, my eyebrows gonna be raised. Like it's gonna have that whole effect of like. It's like the Floyd Mayweather effect a little bit, where you're either watching him to lose, or you're one of those fans that's watching him because you're like, wow, he's actually doing some cool shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, I can't give it nothing but Jake props. And I do agree though. It's because we know and we've seen that he's very capable, and we just want to see you get that time.
Reach your potential, essentially.
Yeah,
reach your potential.
And honestly, I might be in like a very few minority. And I do agree with you. I think he could be world champion. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, also there's like 4 belts, so it's like like
you can get one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can get one.
And if he's somehow this is just like a big what if he somehow got undisputed, which I don't.
Jesus Christ.
Tall task.
What weight is he at?
He's at cruiserweight.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know. I'll be honest.
God. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Paul versus Usyk.
But that's
I'm just kidding.
What I'm saying though is that like like if you that's where the real to me I don't know how much he's making. I don't want to pretend like I know, but I would imagine that's where the real money's at.
I agree. So yeah, I mean I do think he could be world champion, and I would actually like to see it.
Yeah, I would just like to see it because it would be like it'd be super. It'd be something we've never really seen because
Never before, dude.
In the origins of this, of the YouTubers coming to boxing, it was like, man, come on, what are you doing? Like, and to me, that was my opinion. That really was. But as time has gone, I'm like, oh, he's actually serious.
Yeah.
And that's where my issue always lied in the beginning was, are you
don't
taking
know,
it serious?
Yeah, you don't know how committed he was to the game, and then when you saw exactly how committed he was, you were like, I can respect it.
Yep, exactly. So
I agree. And oh man,
I have nothing wrong with it in your defense. So
thanks, man. He never agrees with me. He always just
that's
likes to
not
argue
true.
with me.
We like a lot of the same fighters. We almost always agree on like who won and didn't win. You know what I mean? For movies,
we usually have the same reaction.
Yeah, I would agree.
Speaking to what I think might be divisive for some people, long legs.
Long legs, indeed.
The legs that are long.
Today.
the spider movie. That's what it's about. It's about spiders. It's about a daddy long leg who is in search of a mommy.
Where are you going with this bit?
I don't know, but I'm kind of over it now. Now that I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know where you're going with this.
But yeah. Anyways,
we saw Long Legs today. We went and watched it. What was it? Day one, I think. I think this is day one. We didn't go midnight release, but this is day one.
Not. I was too scared.
The movie was definitely not what I was expecting it to be, at least in terms of the ending. Like I had a whole notion of kind of like the Zodiac type vibe to it, or like that. Like that's what the killer was gonna be. It ended up being something way different and a little bit more creepier than I thought it was gonna be for sure. It's definitely a slow burn, and it's definitely full like psychological. Like you're seeing things. I think my biggest plus and things that I love the most is the cinematography going from wide lens to low lens to differentiate the different time periods.
That I love.
I really like the time, like the beginning is set in the 70s and the present is set in like probably the mid 90s, probably about 94, I would imagine. You know, so it has like this older aesthetic, especially when they're on the computers, and it has like this like flip through. It's really cool, and I really like the atmosphere that it sets.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I fell asleep a little bit during the second act.
Yeah,
not for long.
It's differentiated in part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 2 is definitely the longest.
Yeah,
that's like the most. What do you call it? Like investigating? You know, like that they do. They're going through. They're interviewing people.
Yeah, just a bit though. I watched like 85%, 90% of this movie. 90% of this movie. I'm
so
confident.
really take my opinion as gospel, not his.
Well, I have opinions.
Yeah.
My opinion is we should rate it out of 10 really quickly, just for the camera. I give it a 7.5.
I would give it like an 8, an 8.2, something like that. I really did like it.
Yeah.
It definitely caught me off guard with how the story progressed, and the plot twists were very welcomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like one thing with this new day and age in media is sometimes plot twists can be sniffed out in a way, and I feel like.
Did you see this plot twist coming?
I didn't.
I didn't see this plot twist coming.
I didn't at all. I mean, like there were some things where I'm like, okay, I think this is gonna happen, and I want to spoil it, but like, just the whole notion of it being beneath you is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like that was like, oh my god, and call back to Christopher Nolan. I love when directors and producers can show you the ending without you knowing it's the ending and giving you the plot and feeding you in such a way that it cohesively makes sense by the end of the movie.
Guy Ritchie does that. Not just Christopher Nolan.
I'm just saying that Christopher Nolan has done it the most. That I know that it's, and I love Christopher Nolan. I'm a big fan, boy. You know.
I'm sorry, I could not hear anything you said because I just heard you goggling Christopher Nolan's cock in your mouth.
I will admit it too. That's the thing. I will admit it.
All right, that's good. I'm happy for you, man.
Overall, I really did like the movie, and
No,
I do think it's I think it's worth watching, especially if you're just in that.
I think if you're a cinephile.
If you're in that, yeah.
I think
if you're in that mood to just watch like a kind of a gritty, you know, detective role, essentially. Like if you like the first season of True Detective, you're gonna like this.
I should really watch that.
True Detective is definitely better. I will say that.
Okay.
The first season in particular is first.
See, but you want to know what I fucking like? You said the cinematography and the creative choices with the camera and the editing and just the sound design are so good. And honestly, I think the reason I fell asleep was because like the ambience was kind of comforting for some odd reason. Probably shouldn't have been, but I could have slept to this movie, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that like I'll put it on and it'll be on the background as I pass out. If I really
okay, that sounds so bad.
Yeah, granted, it's dark. It's a dark movie. It's a good movie though. I really like it. I like the score. The score is really underrated. I like the soundtrack choices. They have a class, like, you know, they have probably one of my favorite classic songs.
Yeah.
Bit there at the end. I don't know. Richard doesn't know good music, so he doesn't understand it. Yeah, man. Honestly, the more I talk about it, the reason I'm gonna bump it up and actually make it an 8.2 actually is because I really love the camera work. I really just love the ambience, and it was a slow burn. I'm gonna rewatch it just so I can gather every bit of information again as well. But from what I saw, man, I was pretty happy. I honestly, it's weird to say, I think I got what I wanted. Personally.
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't the ending wasn't what I was expecting it to be, but it was a very good movie, and it was what I was in the mood for. Like I was in the mood for that, just like, what is happening? Like, we got to get to the bottom of this mystery. I don't want to spoil it because it's actually really good, and I thought it was really funny because there was a group of people in front of us. They got up to go to the bathroom, and like the main point, like when you're really figuring out, like, oh my god, like the most brutal kill essentially, or the most shocking kill, I should say. And they come back, and I could hear them, and their friend's like, "You didn't miss anything." I was like, "What? You missed like one of the most crucial points."
Yeah.
And then you obviously leads to a flashback, and you get more in depth to it. But I really liked it. Yeah, I really did. It
was a solid movie. I think if you want to go into this like wanting a horror movie to be scared, I don't think this is the movie for you.
Well,
but see, here's the thing, though, a scary movie. It's a suspenseful movie.
It's creepy and it's a thriller.
Creepy. It's a really good thriller. I just don't want you coming here and expecting some sort of slasher or something.
Oh no, it's definitely not a slasher.
Or some sort of subversion of that genre or something. This isn't really elevated horror as well. This is really just like a.
It uses imagery
so beautifully.
Yeah.
And yeah,
like that's how it tries to scare you. It's like images, like quick flashes of like. You know, the scene essentially.
The shocking revelation of like actual murders and detective work, and sometimes how you can take that home with you. And yeah, man, I really did enjoy my experience with Longlegs. And Nick Cage was fucking creepy.
Cage, yeah, he
did his thing.
He was genuinely creepy. He was the creepiest part of the film for sure.
And there's, I think, my favorite bit at the end. I think you know what I'm talking about with the prosthetics with him.
Yeah.
And that towards the end.
Yeah, it was really good. It was during an interrogation scene. Be prepared.
Crazy.
But I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
I definitely recommend it. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. The channel's been doing very well, and thanks to you guys.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys. We're gonna put out more content. We post 3 times a week. 3 times? 4 times?
3 videos and 1 podcast. Yeah, so essentially 4 times.
4 times.
So if you guys are new here, consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, peace.
Later.